Yeah, it might be spelled wrong, but I don't think I want to worry about it right now, because I'm probably gonna change this anyway, so but it might be spelled wrong. I'm not that good at spelling myself. Now it looks like I fucked it up completely. What am I doing? I googled it and then it gave me the wrong result. Whatever, I'll just keep it. It doesn't matter. I get what it means. I'm gonna refactor anyway, so okay. So I guess the first rule I should make is that they should not be able to move if there is one on the spot. In a forward direction. So let's see. So 4 minus 4 equals 0. So return false. And what then happens if this returns false? I guess this actually have to return false, maybe. This one true. Actually using debugger rather than console log. For some of these things it's easier. At least that's what I think. Especially when it comes to this, right? Not just doing something random. Okay, so now I cannot do this, but I can jump next. And I can also not kill my own. Okay. Let's see. It's actually quite difficult to make a chess game. It's more difficult than I thought. Like all this code just for move all this code, it's like 100 lines just for this one thing. I really need to optimize it somehow, but I guess I'll get at that somehow later, and a lot of it can be cut away, I suppose. This one might be better to have happen outside. As a general rule, So, but so let's see if this can. It cannot do this. And especially if you don't look at I don't look at examples for how this is done right, or how other people made their chess game. It's already a lot of code. Okay. So the next thing I could do, what would that be? I guess I should clean up some of this code. Actually look at it. So okay, what happens? We have rules, and rules happen. We have a rule which happened down here, and we pass the object of chess to it. Which in itself might be a bit strange because it is already chess. But then again, rule is a function of something different. So see. Because I probably need to have some kind of attack function, static, like is attack or something. And then I would check here for this, maybe. And I would check this. And take the piece. And the mouse as well. I guess I need to take the same parameters. And then this would return true. And if this is true, maybe I need something like this. So if it's a move, then we do something else. We do this. So let's see. If is attack, so let's try to call this up here. Rules.isAttack. And we pass the same. So if is attack. It's the same thing this is doing, but if it's an attack, we have to do the checking. So let me see. It checks this, And if it's attack, we have to go into another set of rules. So another set of rules would have to be applied here, and then we could move this, or I could do this. Let's see. Okay. So maybe I should have like do something like this. Have a class for it. Would this be the best way? So if it is attack, I'm trying to figure out how I clean up this mess of code. Some of it is okay. I'm okay with this structure or this piece of code, but this I'm not so happy for. Yeah, OOP is almost never the best way. Yeah, maybe I should get away from it. It's also just to contain the functions, right? That I do this anyways. But you might be right that I should pass some function here or something. You're better off putting functions in modules and exploring them, but what's the, I don't think there's a difference. I mean, in this case, the class is the module, right? And you just export them. It's not like it's static functions. No, it's a static function on a class. Or I guess you need to instantiate it, maybe still. You don't have an instance though, so I'm not sure how it works. If the class only carries static info, then there's nothing about it that makes it a class. I'm not sure what you mean about this. But this is just static. My plan was just to have static functions, and I'm not sure what's the difference will be. You know, I could also remove the class and then do function instead, and then just have this floating out here. You know. It was just to have this structure, right? I did this. And then I have the functions on the piece, but I need to remake my structure anyways. I'm just not sure exactly. And I'm fine with having an instance of this for now, because I kind of need some memory here of certain things. I mean, classes are thought as blueprints that you want to instantiate with different parameters like person or something. If there is no custom info for every instance, then the class should never be instantiated. Therefore, there is no need for the class other than it being some sort of namespace. Okay, so we're talking about the same thing essentially. You just like to call it a module, I suppose. That's the difference. Oh yeah, it's a thing in ES6, but there's no, I mean, there would be no difference, right? Would there? If I took this and then made a new class and then said, or wait a minute. Like if I did this and then export it, and now it's not a JavaScript file, but you get the idea, right? And then import it like this, import the blah blah blah, right? From this file, or what? I think that's what you mean, or if it's not what you mean, then you can tell me. Like this, right? The idea would not have been to export the class but only the function. But why would I only export the function then? I don't understand what you're getting at, that's the point. So what you mean is that, you know, then instead I were to export, then I would export this, or what? I don't know if you have to export it down here, but you know, exporting this function, then that's what you mean. Anyways. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. I cannot see the difference though. Like if I were to import it from an external file or something, I just don't want to split it, to be honest. The modules should only contain export function pawn attack. There wouldn't be the static only class attack anymore. But why would I only export? Why would I do it that way? That's the case. I mean, or what I mean. Why would I? Let's say that I need. I mean, it seems so stupid, to be honest. Seems, I'm sorry, but you know, I think your idea seems stupid, especially if you want me only to export one function. You know, I could understand if you, I could understand it, but it only if you said that, oh, I should export the entire class, so I would export this class and then import it over here. That I could understand, you know, from, you know, this file then. But I don't think it's a good idea what you're saying, other than if this is what you mean, and then because why would I export one function? Then or I could do it with one function, but then the example you made have to be remade, and then it would be like this. So it would be maybe a function, so export function attack, and then I would have to pass, pass parameters here, and then maybe have a switch or something in this one, right, with cases for each, like this. And this still would be very, you know, still be a very big file. And then maybe I would have other functions here that the you know, that this case would then have to call like this based on whatever the case state is. And then I could call this, you know, that could also be a way. Then I would call, you know, have this attack and then call it in here somewhere, right? But, I'm not saying that it's a good idea to create a module for a single function, but maybe all attack related function. Oh yeah, I know what you mean, but it just seems that you're trying to just prove a point in something that yeah. Like, I understand what you're saying, I just don't, it seems like you want to win something just to win it or something. That's what I get out of it. I'm sorry, but I mean, I understand that the smart idea to do this, right, to have an attack class and then export this, or make a general attack function or something and then base it on parameters, you know, that could also be fine. But then again, if this code is clean, changing it to a module should be very simple. It should be just doing this, you know, copying it, pasting it in, and then it's a module. There should be no difference in having the code here and then having it as a module if the code is made in the right way here, like this rule, right? Okay. Because, you know, this could also be a module. It's just that, like, doing this and then, you know, exporting whatever that I have to export here, you know, exporting this function, right? If the code is clean in here, it doesn't matter so much, and I don't really care about splitting this up at the moment. I kinda, first of all, I think I'd rather actually have it in one file as well, and then to use modules, at least for this chess game. Also because maybe then, I don't know if somebody, you know, wants to copy this, but then people could take it and copy it, right? Instead of having to import or download a lot of files. And it's, if I get it made right anyways, I don't think it will be too much code. And exporting modules will not help me in cleaning up my code. Only cleaning up my code will help me, and that's why maybe I got a bit annoyed, because I'd rather clean up my code than to do modules right now. And modules will not clean up my code because it's logical. it's logical problems I have, and I'll go turn on the light. Like it's logical solutions I need to find. It's not so much like it's somewhat based on structure, right? But it's not something a module will help me with. Or it might help me, you know, to a certain extent, but not with the structure I need to clean up my code, because then I would have to maybe look into this player, how I do the structure of this and that and so on. So maybe after, when I'm done with it, I can move things to modules, but right now I don't see a point in it, other than that it would just be, you know, to do it kinda. That's how I see it, at least. Anyways, so so the question is what I do up here. Because it's more about how I get the structures right, you know, if you know what I mean. Like each piece right now have a rule on it, and the rule defines how the piece should behave at the moment when it makes a move like this. And now it seems like it's not working at all. So let's see what I did. It's probably because I made this. So this structure I might want to change. And the question is, because right now I have a function, this is a function, right? And I don't think it will be good for me to define also right now I do the check, or the current I had to check for the color state here. But modules, I just don't see what's so advanced. To me, modules, it's just, you know, taking a piece of code and placing it elsewhere, and then you just refer to, I mean, I don't see anything advanced in it, and I also did it, you know, already up here. Like this is modules, right? Like I didn't dynamically import all my things on my side at the moment. So I don't know. It's just that it's not so important for me to just do it if there is no benefits in it. And I don't see any benefits in making modules. I mean, yes, it might clean up your code a bit, but it's not the kind of code cleaning I need, because the code cleaning I need is the correct structure for the, you know, the logical rules in the chess game. It's not if I do use modules or not use modules. It's that I get the right not only logical functions like this, but that I also get you know, the right structure for my game itself, and I don't even have the right structure. I like 100% need to refactor the way that it is right now, and it's just that for me to make modules, I just don't see what it would do for that, to be honest. I mean, yeah, it's whatever for me. I already talked too much about it, but I don't see it as advanced. I don't know. But you go do it. I guess I can say that. It's just I don't know. I should probably stop talking about it, because it's just that, you know, doing this or doing this, like, this is not advanced. You know, that's not something I see it as advanced. You know, taking this code, opening here, you know, let's save, and then we save attack.js, and now whoop-de-doo, we have made a module, right? Well, I don't get what you're then saying, if it's not that the only reason why I don't like it is because it's not, you know, the point is not modules. The point is not doing this or that fancy thing that doesn't matter in the end anyways. It might help you a little bit with structuring your code, but in the end, to export something as a module and then import it will not, I don't think it will do so much overall. Because I still have all the mistakes in, like, this, right? A module will not clean up this code that I have here. It's just that, you know, there is more important things for me. It kind of, now I'm stuck in it, stuck in it in my head. And also, I have used modules before. I want to say that. I'm pretty sure that. Let me see. Because I'm not using frameworks, right? So I have to. Like, I'm normally, sometimes I do modules, right? Maybe here I have a little bit. Where else? I don't even know, but where the fuck? Something like this, or I don't even know. This is not a module, but it's also not better to have this a module. It's just that it sounded like I did not know what modules were, but I don't know, maybe I get it wrong. It's just that it's smart and all, but to make it more clean, right? And I have to use it more. I will agree on that. I'll agree on that, and then I'll get at the game. If I can see here. So, because right now I kind of like this way, but I have to do it another way, because right now I had checked for the color state, and the color state could also be on the piece. I could have different, because right now there is a function. It's the same function for each piece, right? And I guess this could actually, maybe this would be better if I had a different function for this, and then made a function for each, because it might be easier to have the logic that way. Else it will be something like this, where I have I push something into like this array, and then if it's black, then I reverse this array, and then I can still use these functions, right? But I could have a separate, like 2 functions of these, so it would be like white here, and then have a black one as well. It might be more code, this solution, but it might be easier to write the logic for, because here I have to write the logic that supports white and black in this way, right? And maybe that's not so good to do. I guess it's easier just to have one function for each. In this way, because I think the rules, they are equal, right? All other pieces in chess, they can move, I almost want to say uniformly, but I don't think that's the word. Identical or consistent as, for example to example, place to place, or moment to moment. I think all other pieces, they can move, or they move equally, right? It's only the pawns that have a specific rule for I'm not sure, I guess I have to look this up. I'm not that much of a chess player, so I don't know. This can move in all directions. Also this one. Also this. Okay, so all others can move in the same directions. So maybe this is actually a bad way I did it, because it would be easier probably just to have a function for each, when the rules, they only differ for this specific piece, right? So I might refactor that and then make it this way instead. There's also a special rule for rocks and bishops, but is it special for the color? That's the question. Does it matter the color of it? You know, the pawns, they can only move forward, right? And the direction they can move is based on, you know, the color. But here, you know, they can also move backwards, so it doesn't matter. I can use the same rule for this movement for both white and black, and that's kind of the thing. It's that I had the same function for white and black, and then I did like some tricks like this, reversing the array, and then I could still use the same functions. But I might just rewrite this, right, instead. Might be easier. Maybe I can still move this, or still use this function for it. Yes, so let's see. I guess we have to pass this as well. I know this is messy, but you know, it's just that it's. I don't find it very easy to just make these things, and I don't like looking up how other people did it, other than, you know, the rules of the game. Because I think it's kind of, you know, funny at least to do some of this yourself. So I'll just map it out here and then make it work quickly, I suppose. So rule attack, and also this attack, the attack. So we bind each rule on this, meaning that we would probably, because I should probably, before they move, or maybe I should only do it with the pawns, because. So I guess now the question is there any special movement for attacking, only attacking, that the pieces can make, like pawns, you know, they attack diagonally and not forwardly. And I don't think that's the case, right? All other pieces other than the pawns, they attack the same way they move, right? If I'm correct. Rules of chess, maybe. Did you major? No, I'm kinda a dropout. I'm a floater. Okay. But I do enjoy coding when it's not for, you know, when I can do what I want, kind of. As soon as people, as soon as I get told what to do, then I lose all interest. That's why I don't really use frameworks for this. And I like it, you know, I enjoy trying to just think up how you do it and then trying it out, actually. Instead of just using some framework that does everything and you just copy some lines or something. I mean, not that there's something wrong with copying lines, but you know, sometimes it's also fun to write some logic yourself. Anyways, I talk too much. I feel. Okay, so let's see. Is attack. Should I make an attack class? I guess I can do that. But no, maybe not. Maybe I should just have this. Maybe I should just do it the easy way. Having two functions for each. Or then again, I did this right before. So color state. So if it's more than 1 or less than -1 and it's equal 1, set board piece. I guess. Let me try. I just want something, I need to see something working right now, so 1 second. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I don't, or sometimes I do, but okay, so we can move like that. We cannot do this. We cannot do this or this. So I guess this logic would work for both, right? Or no, it doesn't work this way. So maybe I should make one for each. I'll do one for each, whatever. It doesn't matter so much. Okay, and then we rewrite this so the white can move, and the way we move it here is that we check, so if this position is 6, then we can move 2, so rule, and then we can pass this function. So let's see, else we can only do the normal move of 1 forward. And then let's see if it works. I think I bound the, yes, I bound the functions, and let's see. So I should just be able to move this. Okay, I can still move this, and I cannot move these now. So I guess that's fine. We have that then, and then we need the other one as well. This is where I could maybe change this and put this in an like an extra function, right? And then this would be a parameter. What if you had a chess piece and then extended the class for different pieces like pawn, king, and have rules defined inside classes? That might be a way. The problem is just that I think I just need to do it, if you know what I mean, and then cleaning up after is something that can be done, because if the logic is right, it doesn't matter so much about the structure, and I don't have the logic yet. So that's kind of, I think, what I want to do, just doing that. And then cleaning up after it can be done. Like here, I'll clean up this stuff right now, actually. And then let's see. So attack is still a thing. I guess this could just return, so if we return or call this maybe these functions. Because it's very difficult for me, you know, like if somebody came with a structure, you know, it would, like, of course, you know, I could see that, oh, this would be smart to do, but I think the best solution for me is just to go with whatever I think and then, you know, build upon it, to be honest. And then refactor. It will probably take me time, and maybe like it would not work so well for construction, or for what is it called, industry. Like, this is not how you do it in industry, right? But then again, I don't get paid. So move piece. This one we can do, just call this something else. Maybe we should just delete all this shit. It's kind of annoying right now. Yes, I'll just rebuild it. Doesn't matter. Why does it? Maybe I take this. Because it's one of the things that I know, at least, is that it's better for me just to have it your way. Burger King. Like, you don't know how many people have told me to use React, because this is not React, right? But it works the same way as React. And you know, most people, they have told me just to go use React or some other framework for it. I use the library here though, so you know, I'm a sinner, right? But I find it enjoyable, at least, to just explore. Okay, so here what I have to do, I would honestly avoid React wherever possible. What if you were to do a single page application? Then would you then make your own framework, or what? How would you go about it? I guess I can ask. Then see. What would you do if you needed the same functionality as React, like dynamic, like DOM rendering, or I don't know what to call it, but you know, swapping out the content of the page? Would you then use time on creating your own framework, or would you find something else than React? I guess one can ask. So what goes on here? And this is very messy right now, but I already made my own front-end framework because company paid me to do that. Ah, okay. I see. That's also what I tried to do here on this website. The only thing that I'm kind of annoyed with is that I don't think the search engines will be very good at picking it up, right? Because of the page not being rendered without JavaScript. So okay, I guess I'll do something here. Thank you. So let's see. What happens if we move this white right now? So we get the current piece, and it has array positions. Oh yeah, I heard that. But then there were a guy who told me that it's not very consistent or something in sniffing the agents. But I don't know quite about it. I heard exactly what you said, but then I was told also something different. So I don't know. But then again, maybe you should only care about Google searches anyways. Maybe you should just not care about others. Who uses anything else anyways? Maybe. Also, doesn't it require like an extra server check or something? Like you have to check what kind of user agent every time. That's also not very nice, I think. Not that it would matter much, but you get what I mean, I think. Okay. I kind of chose this way. I did it to get away from doing anything on the server. I'm only serving files right now, and then all the generation happens on the client. This way at least. Okay, so let's see. We need to trigger this attack somehow. So I guess it's down here. Okay. So let's see for this logic. 3 and 4. How does this make sense? Yeah, I probably need to do ES because I don't have any server side right now, right? So I would need to. Some guy recommended me to use like a framework for it, or like a library. But I'm a bit scared of it not being compatible with my kind of code. Anyways, so let's see. Okay, so this is the starting position, right? 3, and now the numbers, they act strangely again, I think. A1. So why are these 3 and 4 when up here? 4, okay, so that's right, I guess. Oh yes, so this is, let me do, so which one is horizontal? X is horizontal, right? So X is horizontal. I'll rename these, so X start, I think this is start, and then X end. This one goes Y start and Y end. Call them these for now. So let me see. Move first. But where is this? the mouse position. Meaning that this and this. X end, yes, so X end. And so I'll actually rewrite this. I don't like looking at it. Or only this logic. I'll rewrite that. So, oh no, fuck it. Can I use it? Second move? Yes, I can use this, right? So start. Let me see. Why is thank you. Okay. So let's see. What we have to check on is we have to check if X, let me just write a note here, X, how do we spell this? Horizontal. It's not this, but let me see. Okay. And then what we have to check on is we have to check if the start position, so white means that we have to move up, meaning that the start position or the end position, let me see which numbers are which. I think this is 0 and this is, so this is 0 0 and this is 7 7. If I remember correctly, because it's an array, right? Yes. Meaning that X start, or yes, X start minus X end has to be equal 1 actually, and Y start minus Y end has to be, I think I'll do more parentheses here, has to be less than equal to 1 and the same thing again, or I think it's or, right? Maybe or actually I think it's 1 and then or Y end equals to minus 1. Then we can do this, I think. Let's see. Do this. There. Okay. And then if this is true, then we set the board piece. So let's try it out, I guess. I'm not sure, but it might work. Might work. So we move up, then we attack. And so start is 2 and end is 3. meaning that this is x. So the end is where it goes to. And this will definitely be -1 always. So I guess I swap them around maybe. Okay. Now I move 2, goddammit. Okay, so 3 minus 4 equals 1, that's correct. And 2 minus 1 equals 1. And 2 minus 1 equals -1. And I guess this is if I move the other way, right? So this works for the right movement, and then let's try the left. So this is 1 minus 0. Or did I do left? Maybe I did do left. Start 1. Oh, because it's on the X, it's not on the Y, right? Yes. Yes. So meaning that this have to be, I have to swap these around. So this always have to be 1. And this one have to be this or this. I think this is correct then. So let's see. So we check for the right movement. And this one is equal 1, that's correct. 7 minus 6 is 1. I was turning to the right, so let's try left. And 2 minus 3, that's -1, so we get this one. And we also have this correct, right? Yes. So let's see. This should not be done. It definitely fulfills this, but it should not fulfill this over here. Yes. But it still moves. Interesting. So let's see, maybe it's because I need to return something here. So let's see. I guess we don't need an else here actually. And this one returns true. So return true, meaning that we have this one, right? And then we can return up here. And then I should not be able to walk on top here. So return false. Oh yes, but then we don't do anything. Meaning that I guess this should only return if, so I guess I can just do that. If, oh, what now? Oh yes, because it's not an attack. So what can I do? I can definitely not do this. Because, so if this is true, then we return. I guess we have to return no matter what. Let me see. Return false, then nothing happens. So return true. So we are attacked by the white pawn, and if it's a successful, then we return true and we do nothing more. But also if it's false, we have to do okay, so if it's true, then yes, I think this, I wonder why we're not working then. Okay, so this can happen because, so I have to do this enemy check outside here. I probably need like a function above all these functions. I guess this was where I needed that class maybe. And this one would then have to check for this. Y index, and we find the piece and we check for the color state. So first of all, it has not to be undefined. And then if this is true, maybe we just return true. Else I guess we return false, just in case a bug happens, but I don't think that can be. Or maybe if it's the same colored or something. So is attack needs to take mouse. And what can we then do? I guess we can do attack that is attack mouse maybe, and we do, oh, I also need the current. Maybe I should just pass the chess object, maybe that's better. Yes, I think I'll pass the chess object. And then we say so here we do just that. Is it A1, and this one is so this returns a boolean, and what can we then do? So if it's an attack, I guess we call this function maybe, and maybe this just does not have to do anything then. Maybe it should not return, and we don't need to check this. Do we need this? We definitely need these still. But I might not have them as variables here. And this one can go, this one can go, this one can go. This. So then I need to clean this up later. I clean up that code. But I'll just do like this actually for now. So let's see if this works. This one then returns true. Is a check. This just checks if it's trying to attack. So if it's trying to attack the other player, I suppose. Meaning then we would have to still return something here or what? If it's a success, then we return, because then we don't have to do this. But if not, I guess I put this in an else, because I don't need to move if it's trying to attack, right? Because I cannot move then, I think. Not sure. Let's see. So we can still move. We can move that. Not do that. So this does not work. That's also for the black. I guess we just take them later. And okay, so if it's an attack, then we do this. So we return attack. This also checks for, so meaning that it will return false and then apply this to it. If the piece is one of my own, and then it will overwrite my own piece. So the question is, how do I get about killing my own? Color state, color state. Okay, and they can also move, I see, without. Interesting. Let's see. Oh, it actually jumps into it, or what? It does? Interesting. Oh yes, but it's returning false, that's right. Because it's undefined. So that's actually fine. And then we get here. And it's not the first move, meaning that we jump to the normal move where we check if this, and this has to be checked on the y-axis. So this is where I think I should remake this check array But what kind of structure I need for it, I don't know. I should probably have a 2D array here. Something like this. And then they would have to match the other structure. Because this start normal move. So normal move works by checking this check array. And the check array is based on the mouse A and the and these names, they are very bad. You should really rename them. Maybe I should actually do that as the first thing. Do I ever use mouse X? Yes, I use it when I fill the text. So maybe here the best thing would be to do, actually not bind this on the mouse. Maybe this what I'm doing wrong. But if I bind it on an array, instead, so a two-dimensional array with two values in each, 2 times 2, a 2 times 2 array, like this. So how do I get the other? It comes from the piece. Yes, the piece. Okay, so the piece holds the array, meaning this is the current piece. Let me delete all this code. I don't want to look at it. Yes, I can delete it. And also this. So this is bad, or these are not bad. This is fine actually, but this is bad. That's a bad thing to have. I need to get rid of it. I also need to recreate these because I need to seed. Right now the board is the one that holds everything, but it should probably be the white and the black that knows about their own pieces, right? This is here where they need to be equivalent. So I could just get an array position, kinda. Then I would not have to bind this, or I would still have to bind this based on the mouse X and Y. So I guess I would have to do a conversion here, or I could actually do it down here, maybe like this. So should I refactor this first? Mouse, see how many places. I use this a lot of places. It's also adding so much to confusion. So what does this define? The mouse A is where the piece has to be moved, I think. So let's see. And also that should all probably be split up. So maybe that have to be on the player. Maybe each player needs something. It would make it so much better. I don't know, can you do this? Can you return? Can you return and bind in the same? I don't know. So let's see, return X. I think maybe you can. Equals 2. Unknown O. Y. Okay, so console log page, invoke it to, okay, so it returns 2. It's good. So maybe I can do this actually. Then I can remove this line. I think. Yeah, so it's not working because I return, Maybe we should not do this. I wonder why it's marking this. So how do I remake this? What could I do? And the question is, this mouse, the problem is that I don't think I can I need to put more out on the players, I think. So the players take turn and these each have a mouse, right? Which then interact with the board. And interesting. So why the pieces not be changing? I'll fix that, I guess. Divided by 2. Oh, here. Draw mouse piece. So here. So if it's false, then maybe we just reset. So reset or what? Just current piece. Also let me do this again. Yes, I don't even use this. Okay. Is this really the logic I need every time? I guess this is where you maybe do something with functions and pass functions to it. Because I guess I don't need to split them if I just pass the functions, right? Or bind the functions or something. Normal move works on the check array. And these could be reused if we reverse this check array. maybe I need to like draw some of this out in Paint. And I also still need to figure out how I bind the pieces to white and black, but I guess I could run this after. It's just that this seed is not very good for, I need like to run an extra one then, and then I'm thinking maybe it becomes too much that's not needed for it. But then again, it's only in the constructor, so it's not really a problem like computation wise. It's only the structure of the code, because I could do it very simple if I just added a function more here and then set seed or give pieces to players or something, and this would then do the same here, but you know it's repetitive. I guess maybe I could actually do it up here, because I find the piece, yes, and then I could say, maybe I could say something like this. What kind of OOP in JS do you use? I don't know. I use whatever I think. I use whatever I think is the way that I want to choose. Maybe that's the only way I can explain it. You don't get the most optimal code here, but if you don't use prototypes, then it's functional OOP. I don't know what I'm not very good at knowing all these concepts, to be honest. Maybe in this case, I do classical. Use last feature class. This is a class. I don't know if that's what you mean. I don't know what you mean. You explain. I guess I call it this and that. JS. There's probably more. I don't even know. Who cares? Anyways. Functional, functional and classical, like a C style. I don't like saying I do this or that, because maybe in one case I do one thing and then in the other I do the other. Or I don't know what you mean. Anyway, so I might do none, I might do both, I might do all. This one is really fucking with me right now. I should have something else here. But what I do not know, maybe I should just have like false or something. I'm not quite sure. I don't know that either. I know none of all this stuff. It's too fancy for me. Oh, P. Why is it also called this? I try to just know logic. That's my, I guess my fault. I guess it still doesn't quite do it. I try not to be stupid and think. Maybe that's what my go at it. I try to think. Oh, this is not even clean. This is this is scribbling almost. Some of it might be clean, some of the pieces, but some of it is very messy as well. But I think, yeah, you know, like this one I can probably not do anything with. Like this is final, but this is not final, and this is probably not, and all these other things, they're not final, because it's more of trying to make it work right. And that sometimes is difficult. Try to make it as simple as possible. Everything genius are simple. Yeah, I know what you mean. I try to go for not too much lines of code. There might be some complex, but you know, it has to not be too much. That's what I try to think. It'll probably take me quite some time just to finish this game, to be honest, because I have to refactor so much. So much I have to refactor. It's almost crazy, actually, I think. But then again, what fun would it be if you knew how to make it? I guess then I would not make it again, right? Oh, there's 48 pieces here. Crazy. So this is for the black player. The black player is this one. So I could do a very simple trick here. I'll just fix this for now, and then I can refactor it later. So if color is not undefined, because right now this color state is sometimes undefined, and if you check on undefined with an if statement like this, if undefined, it will jump in here when it's, I think, like it will get triggered still, I think, like especially if you do this, maybe then it's still like it's not undefined, then it returns true. I think that's my problem, maybe, I'm not sure. Yes. So each player has 16 pieces now. I guess the question is then if the board should still know the pieces. And what else do we have? We have the current piece, and that's the moving piece, which might also not be best placed on this. Maybe I should make a function for this actually. I'll do that. Okay, so I think I'll not look at this so much, and then I'll try to make just a logic for moving the blacks in the right way. Then I guess we fix other stuff later. So up here we have black, and I guess we check for attack. Black attack. We still have to use this function, I think. This is where I do not like it, and maybe because I could split this up and then I could pass a function instead, right? I could move this out, I think, and then make it a function, and then I pass this function instead to the new function, right? And then it would be less code, because then I could copy this function that would contain these things. Or maybe it could contain this entirety actually. But then I would have to do that reverse array stuff for the black. Because doing this, you know, doing this is, let me see, what do we have? This is one way, right? So I'll do this and then just copy paste, and then I would still have to do this, right? Then I think I actually would have to reverse the array here, if I'm right. So check array.reverse. But this piece in itself is very similar. You know, there's this one thing that goes on, right? That doesn't go on here, and number change and a function is change. That's it. So the question is if I could make this a function instead. I can, but I guess the question is also, is it worth it? Because I would have to have some check or bind this this one to the piece. So this piece would also have another function maybe on it, which would then be passed or called from this. So I should rename this. It should just be reset board piece almost. But let's see if we can. Yes, so we can move the black now. We can move 2. We cannot move 3. And we cannot move 2 when the first move is done. So the black, they cannot attack as well. And we cannot attack this way, but we can do this. It's almost also like these pawns, they are the most difficult to make because they have rules based on their side, which none of the other pieces have. These they can just move anywhere they like, right? Oh yes, this is just normal. There's almost only classical JS going on here. Almost. Very little other things. The lack of any sensible structure and design of code and game rule mechanics, just as any JS application. The lack of any sensible structure and design of code and game rule mechanisms, just as any. I don't know. Of course, right now I think it's structured for now. You know, I'm still scribbling it out, but I think it will be structured in the end. Think about it. Why do we need? I had them in the same in the start, but it means that I need to. I was just talking before about moving these into one function, and I also had it in one function earlier, but I'm refactoring right now, and the reason for it is because there's different rules, right? But I know that it's possible, like it's very similar, so moving this to a function should not be difficult. I just need to figure out a way where I reverse this function or reverse this based on the color, but I'll do that at another point, or maybe not. Maybe I'll do that now. I had it on the same, but then I changed it today actually, because of some logic with let me see, because of this logic actually. I didn't want to write this logic, but you know, I could just have maybe two different functions here, instead of having, because like no matter what, I need to either do this or figure out another way. Maybe if I rework these into arrays, then I can maybe do some trick. This if statement, or what? This is the rule that checks, you know, when you attack, you can only attack to the left. So it checks if the pawn is going to the left. And then I return true if it's successful and set the board piece. That, you know, don't take this code as final at all. It's not final at all. Like, just look at this. It has to be reworked. But it's something that I just have to do as I go about doing it, right? Because I don't quite know how to make this. So checking if a move is diagonal, yes, exactly. But it only checks. It's not that it's so much different. It's just that it's on another axis. Like one of them is gonna be minus and the other one is gonna be plus, right? So this one will move plus on the y-axis, right? And this one will move, or this one will move plus on the y-axis, and this one will move minus on the y-axis, and that's the difference. And yes, I will agree that it's 100% possible to make it into one function, but I have not found the solution yet. And you know, that's also one of the things that I'm sitting here doing. And you know, if you want to go do it, you can, you know, go do it. It's fine with me. I don't know all these things just instantly in my head, if you know what I mean. And I'm not saying that this is the final way. Again, this is just trying to map out, right, how maybe it could be done. I've never made chess before. This is my first attempt to make chess, actually. So, yes. And yes, I agree that these... I made this game for... like, I think it's 2 years ago or something. Also with no frameworks and so on. As you see, it has some bugs and there's small things in it, but this was my first game I did. You see, there is some collision detection that doesn't quite work, but you can buy upgrades and so on, and then you can go play here and progress and shoot. And there's no sound because I have that off right now, but I made this without frameworks, but that's, I think it's almost like 3 years ago actually, or 2. It's probably like 2016. I never finished it quite, and you can see the image is very small. And then they're supposed to like spawn a boss here, right? If it happens. And then you like have to kill him, and then you like get in here. You cannot see very well, but then you can progress on. I decided to try to make everything myself, and that's why like some of these things, they are kind of broken. And maybe you should have like warnings as well for like certain stuff. But I've made the games before, yes. So it's not so playable, right? But and also when you if you use these upgrades, it's quite a lot easier. Oh yeah, I know it's one of the best ways. That's also why I chose to do everything myself here, right? Because of the learning in it. Having to code the logic and everything. And also the images, they are very trippy, you might want to say. You cannot do that, but anyways. I also made other things, you know, I just do small programs. I make programs, but this chess, you know, it's quite difficult actually, I think. But it's also that you know, I have to think. I have to think up these things, right? And that's the most the part that takes most time, you know, is figuring out how I should do it, because I might do it one way like this. I have 100% to refactor this, you know, this below here. There's so much already I have to change, but you know, there's only one way in this, and to try doing it, I guess. Like there's some logic in place, something that's working. We cannot just move like this, and the first rule of the pawn is moving, or is working, and also somewhat the attacking, but I think I can still, yes, I can move it like this, and that should not be possible. So I guess I can fix that maybe. Because refactoring and cleaning up the code can always be done when you have the right logic, right? When you have things working, then it's more easy to, at least that's what I think. Because then you have something to actually look at and see the mistakes. I think it could be nice thing to make a function that lists all moves a piece can make. Maybe. I don't know what you mean by listing all moves. I thought myself as like displaying different colors on the pieces it could move to, if that's what you mean. Yeah, highlight it. Yeah, I thought about that as well. I made chess once, but the user input was that you click on a piece to select it, and it will highlight the location where it can move. Yes, I thought about that myself as well, to making displaying another color or something. I don't know if I will change rather than dragging, but I might change the colors of the pieces or something where it's possible, so people, they can see also if they can attack maybe. So they would grab this and it would also show that they could move here and not just forward, right? Anyways, so let's see. Is attack chess? and then I refactor later. So don't worry so much, or don't get at the code too much, because I only think that will slow me down almost. Because in the end it's me that have to think up the structure, right? Unless somebody comes and pass the results, and what fun would that also be? Anyways, so okay, so I need to fix this movement. So why is that possible? We have the white pawn, and it can attack, and if we attack, it applies this rule and go here. So I guess we have to, I'll debug, that's the best, I think. So attack, and we do this, so it says this, it jumps in here, we find the next piece it wants to move to, it's undefined, we return false, it jumps down here, checks if it's the first move, it's not, so we go here, and then here we have a problem, because this only checks on one axis. Yeah, how boring it would be if somebody else just gave you the entire application ready to use. We only apply that to school assignments. Only apply that to school assignments. You gotta do your homework, man. Cannot just copy paste everything. Okay, so here I need a check. Okay, so this should actually be simple, or fairly simple, because I'll just do one simple if statement for now, and then I will, inside this I will return. So what we check on is that we have to check if the mouse x is equal the mouse, or so the current chess piece, and so mouse A. So let me do this, just mouse A. So this minus this have to be equal 0, and the other value is current chess piece dot, forgot what values this hold, or array position. So I guess we can do this check. This is where it's like, it's more don't code like this at home, it's just what I want to say. Don't. This might work, I'm not sure. So let's see, can we move here? Let's jump, and we go. Don't try this at home. At least not if you want a job, right? Maybe, or something. Okay. Where did I even place this? Did I update? I don't think I did. So this one, we move left. It's not an attack, meaning that it's not an enemy. Oh, and mouse is undefined. Why is this so? Oh, I spelled it wrong. So 1 is equal to 6, and the mouse is equal to 3. Does that make sense? That does not make sense. Or does it? No, this should be 2. That's the problem. Yes. So the P. Okay, so it's definitely not using the right arrays here, because I do this one. I should do this. And then we do array position 1, and then mouse A1, and this should fix the movement of this. Shouldn't be possible now, but it still is. So what's wrong? Let's see. Array position 1 equals 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's 0 based, I'm pretty sure. So 5 or 4. Let's see, A1 is 5 and this one is 4. Oh yeah, if it's not equals to, that's the problem. So if it's not equals to 1, then we have to return, or to 0, then return. And then we have to reset the piece by this. And maybe this is also bad practice actually, I think. I should probably not even pass these things. It's kind of stupid. Kind of stupid. But now I cannot move here, and I should still be possible to do this. Yes. So I cannot move to the left, but I can do it when it's like that. And that one disappeared. If I right click, they disappear. So let me check this function. Set board piece. Set board piece reset. This is very bad, very, very bad. Because I already have the current piece. Because this is a function. I'm kind of like passing the same things here. Which is, it's not so logical. But then again, refactor is something you do later. Okay. Okay. So this one, I'll just do it this way. I know this is bad practice, right? And having one function for both of these or doing it some other way might be even better. But this is how it's gonna be done for now. So the logic here is what I'll be fixing. It's only the logic right now. Because the logic is usable anywhere, no matter the function structure. Or most of it, right? So let's see. So y start and yx. So it were here, meaning that we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start y. So start x that we'll worry about. Start y. So in this case, we have to swap them around actually, if we still want equals 1. So one thing I could do here, maybe to make like a general function, is to somehow have these in an array, and then I could reverse the array, because then it would still equal to 1. That maybe could be done. So a quick fix here would just be to swap these around, right? But it could maybe be fun to have these in an array, because then this could be a function, right? If I push these, but some kind of an array or have them in an array. I guess that's the problem. This is where I was thinking something about a two-dimensional array, because then maybe I can just send some boolean and then have an if statement, and if this is true then we reverse some array, and then we can still use the same logic, because the only difference is these values being swapped. The X logic is still the same, right? But these values they're swapped around when it's the opposite side. Or maybe I could also do, I don't know if you can do 1 and then wiggle. No. You can also not do that. Anyways. So let me see. Can we do that? Yes. We can also do this. So they can move. This is where I might need this. So I guess I just need to debug. Let's go here. Then we do this. So is this an attack? And what happens in here? This is only checking. Okay, so that's all fine. Then we have this going on. 7 is also fine. Also fine. And we set the piece. Okay, so I guess this is not the problem. It's the problem when I do this. Returns false, that's also good. Okay, so here something happens. We reverse this array, which should also be done differently. Yes, and that's the reason why this should be done differently, because then it would also be just an array. If we have this as a 2, but then it comes down to what kind of structure I choose for like this two-dimensional array. And then it becomes, so start move. So what did I do to fix that? Oh yes, that was how I did it here. I did this. But then again, could I do this another way? I could probably do this another way. But you know what? Let's forget about that right now. Forget about it. Okay, can I move like that? No. Okay, so good. We move down, we can attack, but we cannot move diagonally when there is no other pieces. anyways, I'll take a break now. So yeah, you have a good day.